Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and right now we are watching episode 2 of No Guns Life. So, this episode was a little bit delayed, my apologies. I had to go to bed early yesterday due to some work-related events, but it's just a day, so hopefully it's not going to cause too much of an inconvenience here. So anyways, last episode was the first one. We're still really sort of getting into the story, right? We're still learning the tendencies of our main character Juzo, and potentially his next partner in crime, or partner, Tetsuro, I believe, who he's trying to rescue at the end of the last episode. And we also see him show off a little bit of his abilities as well. After all, he is a military grade transhuman, right? I believe in this series they called him the extended, or in his case the overextended, which is quite a funny way to call them, by the way. And so, being military grade, he should have much better powers than just some random mercenaries, right? So let's just see how the series actually goes on. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I still think you look creepy. Like, how does that even work anyway? Why does he need to spin a revolver for a punch? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but it just looks so ridiculous. Boom. Ugh, that's CGI. I'm back! Or whatever those hard-boiled people will say. Are these also an arm man? Your head? Alright. I will be listening to the opening again, but I'll skip this for you guys. And back. By the way, if you guys do want me to, also put the opening in, do let me know. I mean, I will mute it so I don't get copyright struck. It's just that, there's not really much for me to say during the opening parts. But some people like to sync up the videos with my reaction video. So, let me know. Ooh. I mean, hasn't it ever occurred to you that someone who's literally been extended for the purpose of fighting a war would be a bit more formidable than normal extended? Who is he gonna take over? Oh, that one? Oh. Hmm. Oh? Wait, just like that? What happened to your agility and whatnot? I mean... Hmm. Oh, so he actually was injured there. That's how hard-boiled characters act. Hmm. Okay, I thought it was... Ooh. Okay. You know, I was half expecting them to pin the, pin it on him. So sort of like a extension rejection, right? Prosthetic rejection. Wow, she works fast. Hmm. Yeah, what exactly is his eyes made of? Mm-hmm. Subbrain. So there's like a core on their neck. Mm-hmm. So he has a weak point.
ここからは推測なんですけど、このハルモニエってのは対象の運転席に強引に乗り込むための装置ってところですかね。本来、補助脳に外部から干渉するには、ユーザー、メーカー、EMS がそれぞれ設定した3つの認証コードが必要になるんです。それを無視できるマスターキーの
Like a backdoor or something.
確かにあったんですけど、下手すれば会社の存続すら危うくする。で、幽霊がいて。
そいつを外してやることはできねえのか。
円髄周辺まで食い込んでるみたいだから、釣りに外そうとすると障害が出るかもです。これをつけたり、この子の生死に興味なかったってことな。親がいない子供なんて言ってるけど、この子もやっぱり孤児だったりする。
Oh, that can be further from the truth.
なんかイライラしてます。修造さん、タバコの銘柄変えました？
変えたつもりはねえよ。
まさか、お気に入りのタバコが吸えなくてイラついてるんですか？でっかいなりして子供みたいですね。確か種子島ですよね。この辺に前、修造さんが忘れていったのが。
あるのか。
間のゴミ捨てちゃいました。だって私、タバコとか吸いませんし。それにあんなきついタバコ置いてたら他のお客さんに変な勘繰りされるじゃないですか。ほら、やっぱり私目当てのお客さん多いですし。
Okay.
キャンドルにも気をつけていかないと。とにかくこの子の手足と声帯は拡張処理で日常生活に支障がない程度にはできると思いますけど、一度目を覚まさないことには。
了解だ。こいつの意識が戻ったら事務所に連絡をくれ。
修造さんがそこまで気にかけるなんて珍しいっすね。依頼果たしたんでしょ？まさかこの子のこと相棒にでもするつもりですか？
Mm-hmm.
ほら、ダンスレイブユニットといえば二人一組っていうのが有名じゃないですか。いやまあ、一般の人は知らないでしょうけど、私くらいになると。
あとは頼んだぜ。
冗談通じないんです。
She should be part of the main cast as well, right? If we go by the opening.
僕は道具じゃない。お前は俺の司令部の奴らの道具じゃない。
Yeah.
すべきことはお前が決める。
His former partner.
こんなもんじゃ聞きあれじゃと。おっと。
Is this like a trap or something? Why is it suddenly so?
おい、そりゃねえぜ。だったとか言うんじゃねえだろうな。やった。おい、そら俺の警備局まで来てもらおうか。ちょっと待って。俺ちゃんと金を払ったんだ。なのに自販機のやつがだな。乾十三さんですね。あなたでした。出て結構。
Okay. Who's this big shot? He has such a punchable face. エクステンド関連の問題を扱う処理屋を営んでいる。しかし、近頃受けた数件の依頼はろくに報酬を得られていないご様子。
壊れた窓の修理の方は大丈夫ですか？俺のことをずいぶん熱心に調べてくれたみてえだが、せっかくなら俺の知らねえことを教えちゃくれねえもんかね。例えば鉄路ってが、実は一体何者なの？申し遅れましたが、私ベリュー連社の代表として参りました。カニンガムと申します。
Cunningham.
彼は我が社の貴重な製品。所有者として彼の返還を要求したいわけ
He
です。
wants to pay him off.
今は少々厄介なところに置かれているようです。我々とことにはもちろん
Yeah, that box there is probably payment.
この金型というエクステンド用タバコ、確かあなたのお好きな銘柄で
40 extended. It's specific. 40 extended.
ここにあります。我々の頼みを聞いてください。
Seriously? Seriously?
エンドは補助脳で生身の脳をサポートして神経系への負担を和らげています。とはいえ拡張の程度によっては神経の摩耗を避けることはできず、そのため多くのエクス
Okay, so it's sort of like drugs to a certain extent. Ah, okay.
タバコもその一つ。ただこれに含まれる鎮静剤の割合は他の薬とは桁違い。こんなものを利用するのはわずかですからね。回収は簡単だよ。ここ半日、あなたがこれを摂取できずにいることは存じています。
Oh, jeez, I was pissed.
ですが困難になってきた。
He's gonna be like, no wonder I couldn't get.
つまらねえ。やれ。戦時中、敵味方を問わず恐れられていた狂気のエクステンド。それが薬が切れただけでこのありさま。やはりエクステンドなどにはなりたくないものですね。
Hmm.
いいですか？タバコの流通操作なんてことはほんの手始めです。もし取引を飲まないなら、あなたの大切なものを一つずつ消していきます。
I don't think that guy has any extensions, does he? まさかとは思ったが、これがあのガキの正体なんだろう。なぜモルモットまがいの目に合わされてやがる。本当にあんたたちのボスの意志なのか？何の不思議もありません。社員はすべて社のための歯車。それは CEO の息子であっても同じこと。歯車に意志はない。ただ与えられた務めを果たしさえすればいい。かつてのあなたと同じようにね。おっと、もうこんな時間だ。今日は早めに帰宅して家族と食事の予定なのです。さあ、そろそろ返事。 He has a family.
乾さん。あんたのにはあるみ。
Oh, whoa.
身体機能の維持のためだな。俺はな、そいつの味が好きで吸ってるんだよ。
Like I said, military grade. Overextended, right?
自分は道具じゃねえと俺に言った。あいつはあんたたちの探し物とは違うってことだ。もしこれ以上五択を並べるつもりなら、今夜の晩餐は諦めることだ。あいにく体がうまく動かせねえんでな。程よく手加減してやれそうもねえからよ。
Give him a trashing of some sort? Oh, I thought he was gonna punch his face in.
腕のない人に無茶言いますよね。新しい腕つけるならいい技師紹介するっすか？
Of course, she has his back.
にあなたの安住の地はない。平静用心することですね。お前、それだけっつったらそいつじゃねえ。国の一般くらい。
また面倒なことに
Hmm.
当然種子島の成分に似せて作った代用品ですし、
Oh.
それに私タバコの味なんて知りません。
その間の抜けた面は何なんだ、メアリー。
正体隠すために決まってるじゃないですか。だから名前呼ぶな。巻き込まれてとばっちりはごめんすから。
の割に首突っ込んでんじゃねえか。
Yep.
事務所にかけても電話つながらないし、重蔵さん安全に釣り切れてる様子だったからなって来てみたらどうすよ。
電話？
ああ、
The kid's conscious.
例のあの子、目が覚めましたよ。
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. This is like the actual ending for us. So let's take a look at this one. Or actually, never mind. Man, the spine is really cool looking. Oh, it looks like the trigger actually comes out of his back. Okay, I see, I see. Oh, actually, never mind. I saw this last episode. I just kind of forgot about it. All right. I'll see you guys after this. Alrighty, so there was a little bit left after the ending as well, but that was actually the preview, so I decided to just skip that and go directly into the discussion part. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about Juzu, right? Because it just baffles my mind how all of them sort of underestimate him. Or maybe I'm looking at this from a wrong perspective, but I just feel like if these people are literally, modified soldiers for the direct purpose of fighting a war, and in fact they were even formed into a special unit consisting of overextended, right? They're not just normal extended super soldiers, they're literally modified to the point where the entire purpose is for fighting the war. You would think that people would take them a little bit more seriously and take their firepower a little bit more seriously, right? So I don't know, it just baffles me how they underestimate him that much. He's literally a machine designed to kill and fight wars. How can you just go up to him and believe that he is he is just a regular thug or regular criminal or whatnot? So I don't. Perhaps they will explain a little bit more as to why they take him so lightly. I mean, they keep on saying that he's more of an old-fashioned model, right? An old model. But still, like, how many years since the Great War has it been? You can't really say that technology has exploded that much that they are entirely obsolete, right? So I actually have a theory right now that these military-grade overextended typically have some sort of inhibitors on them, which kind of makes sense in a way, right? Considering that they are called gun slave units and whatnot. It seems that their level of autonomy is very low, so perhaps they need their partners or handlers or whatnot in order to fully utilize their power, and so that is why most of them decide to not really take him seriously as well, right? And that could also potentially be, the reason why he's special and why he has such nostalgia for his partner, right? Apparently something did happen between him and his partner. That's probably an integral part of his backstory as well, and that maybe also explains why people make of him so lightly, even though he's clearly a much, much higher level of overextended than they make him out to be, right? So that's my quick comment on Juzo here. We also see Mary in this episode, who, judging from the opening, is probably part of the trio. So she's probably part of the main cast. So it would be Juzo, Mary, and then Tetsuro, right? They're sort of the main cast here. We can see Mary. I didn't really realize that she was actually a mechanic. Based on how she dressed and whatnot, I thought she would be ex-military as well, which could also potentially be possible, right? Because she did, handle one of the thugs by herself, and that thug was actually armed, right? Now, granted, it could have been an ambush or whatnot, but still, it seems that she knows how to carry herself around these kinds of situations, right? So I wouldn't put it past her to be actually ex-military in a certain way, and that would also maybe explain her affinity towards Juzo as well. And speaking of weapons, though, one thing that I felt was a little bit iffy for this episode is how should I put this? Things are just a little bit too easy for Juzo, right? Like, for instance, the very opening sequence on the train with Karen and whatnot, the sister Karen. Why did she suddenly freeze up at the very end there and didn't even make any attempt to, engage in hand-to-hand combat or maybe some hit-and-run tactics or whatnot? She literally just freezed there, and it's not like Juzo suddenly displayed a sunburst of speed or whatnot, right? He literally walked up to her and then gave her a back chop to her I believe they call it the sub-brain, right? The thing on her neck that controls all the extensions and whatnot. Like, what happened to her there? Like, what was the entire point of, sort of making her into this menacing character in the first episode and then basically being a pushover in the second episode, right? So that's one thing. And then the other is during the scene where Cunningham is confronting Juzo with all his thugs, right? So, I mean, clearly they show the ability to use force. There was a sniper waiting up on the balcony as well. So how come the thugs on ground level are unarmed, right? They literally only have their body parts. You would think that if they really wanted to intimidate someone, and apparently since they even have the control of the police, why wouldn't they be armed, right? So it's just a lot of these sort of convenient explanations and whatnot. It's not going to completely break the story or whatnot. It is more of a minor nitpick, but I just feel like it's something that makes me go, why the hell did they do this, right? I'm a little bit more picky in this sort of fashion, right? Like, if something if an anime clearly wants to defy logic and wants to be completely ridiculous and out there, that's fine, right? But here, they're kind of doing this entire hardboiled style, really more nitty-gritty kind of stuff, and having them make these sort of beginner mistakes and whatnot, it just sort of breaks the immersion by a little bit. I mean, obviously it's ridiculous any way you look at it. Our main character literally has a gun for his head, right? But still. So that's most of my comments on this episode. What we're going to see next, I am curious to see if this is going to be like entirely a story describing the fight of our three protagonists against the corporation, against the big evil corporation, or is this really just maybe one of the first arcs to set Tetsuro free, and then later on we'll be getting more other arcs as well and other new antagonists and other new stories, right? There was a mention of terrorist groups here who are anti-extended, right? Or anti-corporation. So it's possible that they're going to cross paths as well. And especially with Juzo being as overextended as he is, I could potentially see some conflict there. I have no doubt that this terrorist group is probably going to make an appearance sometime soon. Perhaps not in this arc, but sometime, right? And so yeah, there we go. That's all my comments for this episode. One last thing I'd like to ask you guys is I've received some comments on other videos saying that they prefer for me to leave in the opening and ending as well. Now I normally just skip over them, and even if I watch them, so I normally watch them the first time once. I will mute the audio just to avoid copyright strikes. But normally after that I will skip them, since to me there's not really anything that I can talk about during that point. You're literally going to see 90 seconds of me just maybe bopping my head along, right? So that's why I normally cut it out. But some people who want to watch along with me, they will sync their own videos with the timing of my videos, and apparently this causes some syncing issues. So let me know, for those of you guys who are watching this series, whether or not you prefer me to make, no cuts all the way through, right? So there we go. That was episode 2 of No Guns Life. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.